Hello, Daggerr community. As I already said in our previous video, I said that we will come back with the news that we have. I want to tell you that we have some positive movements in the direction of international sales and in organizing the restocking of our dealers and in worldwide shipment. So, but today, of course, I do not have the opportunity to give you the whole information about this. But once again, we are doing all what we can do, and yes, there is definitely positive movements, and soon we will be able to tell you all the positive information about this. But today we can move, since we are on YouTube and you are watching our channel. I really appreciate this, and all Daggerr team appreciates it. And we decided that it's maybe time to talk about key recommendations that I will probably give to the knife enthusiasts or the beginner knife enthusiasts. So here are several things that I've written down, and excuse me, I will be going into these into the notes to talk about them. So let's start. So first is probably we need, since we are all in this knife culture, in this knife community, we need to be actually very polite to each other. So probably my first recommendation would be is not to shame other knife owners. So if you think that somebody has knife that you do not like, or it's cheap or something like this, please do not actually shame the knife owner. Second, don't overpay on limited run knives. Unfortunately, there are companies, I will not be of course naming the companies, but there are companies that do not actually really make true limited knives. The term limited in most of the cases can be more marketing purpose rather than really a limited run. So please carefully get acquainted with this knife, get acquainted with the history of this model, get acquainted with the previous limited runs, and maybe you will find out that the knife that is promoted as a limited, it's not really a limited run. So, and only because it's has words limited, it has a high price. So please be careful with this. Second, third, I already said it several times on our Russian YouTube channel that I do not consider knife as an investment. And I also advise not to consider knife as an investment. Knife is a tool and is also a collectible, okay? And of course, it can be that some limited knives, some knives that are discontinued on secondary market can increase in price. That's absolutely normal, but it's impossible to predict your future return. And since you are not able to predict the future return from buying the knife, I think considering the knife as an investment object is actually probably not a right idea. It's partly actually fooling yourself. So don't fool yourself and do not look at knives as an investment asset. Okay? Next. Specs are not always the important part, because specs do not actually transmit the idea of the knife. Because if you are only looking at the knife based on specs, maybe you will find out that the knife that you've got, it doesn't meet the specs that you wanted, but it actually meets all your needs. And you have this, you understand the idea, and you have this good emotions of owning the knife. So please do not be also guided only by specs. And connected to this is, of course, there is a big difference between price, quality, and satisfaction ratio. Okay? So the price quality do not always equals to the satisfaction. Okay? So, and price satisfaction ratio is totally different than price quality ratio. Okay? So please also take this into the consideration, because at the end of the day we all need the satisfaction by owning this knife, and sometimes you will be really disappointed that you paid a lot of money, that you received a good quality knife, but you do not receive the satisfaction. And satisfaction is something, intangible. Yes, that's what comes with the brand messages, the idea of the knife, the design, and all these are intangibles, and how it and what are basically the story for you of owning this knife. So price to satisfaction ratio doesn't equal to price quality ratio. And believe me, buying sometimes a very expensive, very quality knife, you do not receive the same satisfaction when, for example, you are buying a, buck 110. Sometimes it can be more satisfied than basically buying a very, very limited custom knife. Second, not second, I already forgot how many points I was saying, but next. Actually, this is, in Russia we have sometimes a knife enthusiast gatherings. So sometimes in Moscow we meet, let's say in a cafe or in pubs, and we bring all our, some small collection of our knives. And we basically sit, drink beer, discuss with each other, show the knives, discussing the knives to each other. And believe me, nobody really cares what is your collection. So don't be fooled, and don't be trying to make your collection in order to show off and in order to show your collection to somebody. Please, always trust yourself and build the collection like you want. Because believe me, everybody is interested in your collection only for 5 minutes when you are on these knife gatherings. And in most of the cases, your friends are probably not knife enthusiasts, and they actually even do not really care what the knife collection you have. So do not be led by others. Yes, nobody is in reality interested in your collection. In your collection, you are the only one person who is interested in. Next. Please understand small companies and small brands. Sometimes we also, since we are a representative of a small knife company, all small companies have the issue of the production and working capital, and due to these reasons we are not always able to have everything available on our website. So please understand the small knife brands and do not be angry on them when you are not able to order the knife that you want. So if the knife is not discontinued, just communicate with the small brand. They will put you in the list, and they will email you or inform you whether the knife is in stock again, so there won't be any big problems. But please really understand that small business has some issues, of course, I would say growth issues, right? So at some point of time, our company will be a big company, so and all the stocks will be always on available. But at this time, well, I'm saying on our companies, of course, we have some issues like this, like all other small companies. Yeah, don't be a steel snob, okay? What I mean, recently on our YouTube channel, I actually we released a video, and I was speaking about the knife steels. Are they really important, or it's more like it's more like a trend or a fashion rather than a necessity to have a high quality steels. And I also talked about the HRC, and I was pretty amazed that majority of the comments that I received, everybody agrees on this, because we actually really need to understand that nowadays the steel, yes, the knife companies are using different type of steels and very, very modern steels, not because these steels perform better. Of course they perform, but believe me, in EDC tasks, you will never distinguish why S25V is much better than, let's say, D2, yes? It's very difficult in EDC tasks to distinguish. Of course, if you are doing thousands cuts of the rope, yes, on such a test, you will see the difference. But in reality, it's all about the fashion, okay? So don't be a steel snob. Don't look at the brands or at the knives that if they do not use the super premium luxury steels, that this knife is not for you. Yes, because first of all, as I said, you are building your own collection, and behind your own collection is not only the steel. Okay, it's a design, it's an idea, it's all intangibles, it's specs as well, so it's actually more complex. So looking purely at steel, that would be a really big mistake. Maybe the last one, but not the least one, if you had a bad experience with any company, with any knife brand, that doesn't mean that this brand is bad. So please give a second chance to the knife brands, okay? Because there is one case when you produce, 10 knives per year, and there is another case when you produce hundreds and thousands knives per year. And when you do the serial production, that's pretty, well, I will not say the normal. Of course, we all try to have 100% perfection. But that's a statistics that you will always have some percentage of, let's say, defective knives. And it can be that due to some human factors and other things, the particular defective knife was in your hand. And in this case, I would recommend you basically just to communicate with the company, communicate with the brand. If the company has a good customer service, and believe me, we owners of knife company, the workers in knife company, we are all knife enthusiasts. We all need to actually build a strong knife community and strong knife culture. And believe me, all good knife companies will understand you. So just communicate with them and give always the second chance to the knife brands. So that's probably all what I want to tell you today. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for supporting our company. Once again, once we will have final positive information about our international sales, we will make another video and I will give you in detail what is happening right now. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a great day.